Last night we got to see a lot of good NBA basketball games, a couple of them coming down to the wire. I got to watch 2 of them. Shout out to, once again, Amazon Prime for putting on a show with their broadcasting unit. I thought their broadcasting was pretty funny. Listening to them all night long. I thought that the halftime show with Taylor Brooks, John Wall, Blake Griffin, and Udonis Haslem, I think they do a really, really good job over there on Amazon of reporting these basketball games. But last night we got to see a decent amount of basketball games go on, and I want to talk about the ones that I got to watch. First and foremost, Wendell Carter Jr. hit the game winner in a 115-114 win for the Magic over the Dallas Mavericks. I don't really have much to say about Dallas. It is really sad to see some of the lineups that Dallas is putting out there, especially knowing that they were in the NBA Finals just 2 seasons ago. Now, I know Cooper Flagg is still developing and young, and they got him because of the Luka Doncic trade and everything, but even with their bench unit, like they traded Quentin Grimes for Caleb Martin and gave up a second-round pick in that trade, and Caleb Martin is really, really rough at basketball. Najee Marshall, he has his ups, he has his downs. That's how he's always been as a player. I've been continuing to say I can't believe that no one traded for him at the deadline. But even like Chris Middleton, I really don't know what's going on with Chris Middleton. After he got traded in the Anthony Davis trade from Washington, I saw that Chris Middleton was rumored to be bought out by the team, or at least was being asked if he wanted to get bought out to pursue another team. I guess he's sticking around in Dallas for the remainder of the season. I don't really see why, especially if they're willing to buy him out and he can just go to basically any contending team. I don't understand why Chris Middleton would want to stick around in Dallas for the remainder of the season, but hey, get your money up. Whatever, fine by me. It's not going to make much of a difference either way. As for Orlando continues to find a little bit more strides in their unit. I thought it was really interesting to see that Tristan Da Silva came off the bench, shot 100% from the field. Very, very good outing for him, but just led the entire team in scoring. You can see the shot distribution on this Magic team. A lot of distributing the ball in terms of shots. Noah Penda taking 7 shots. Javon Carter taking 7 threes, 9 shots. Mo Wagner, 8 shots off the bench. The whole starting lineup being, semi-efficient with their shooting. Good win for Orlando. They really need to hang their hat on the defensive side of the ball, but the way that their team is, they really need Franz Wagner back if they're going to make any noise in the playoffs. But I really expect a team like Charlotte or Miami to overtake Orlando come the time that we're talking about the playoffs. I did get to see a little bit. Shout out to, what's his name? Where is he? Shout out to Angel Reese's brother, Julian Reese. Has been playing meaningful minutes for the Washington Wizards. He dropped a double-double the other day. And look at this, 18 points on 5 for 7 from the field, 20 rebounds. You want to talk about these Reese, kids? They know how to rebound the ball. 10 offensive rebounds, 10 defensive rebounds. Those are guys that you just love to see coming in to a team like Washington. They picked him up on a two-way contract, and here he is giving them 18 and 20 rebounds. He looked like a bright spot. He hit all his free throws. He was efficient from the field. Just like what I saw out of the highlights from him. I saw a couple highlights of his. I had to talk about it. I know they lost by 10, even to Utah, but in the battle of 2 tanking games, I thought that was really fun. Trae Young made his debut with the Washington Wizards last night. 12 points, 6 assists, 3 turnovers, 2 steals. One of my favorite things about Trae Young that I think doesn't get talked about, I know that he's not, a threat when he drives to the basket necessarily, but his finishing ability at the rim, his ability to make layups spin, the ball spin off the backboard. Trae Young is a really, really underrated finisher in the NBA, especially when he gets to that, those tough layups on bigger defenders. Trae Young is really underrated when it comes to that aspect of the game. Something I saw a little bit of in Washington last night that I feel like we don't talk about when it comes to Trae Young. But Utah, the backcourt absolutely dominated. Ace Bailey put up his, highest scoring performance of his young NBA career, 32 points on 19 shots. Isaiah Collier absolutely dishing the rock, 27 points, 11 assists. Utah's got a lot to look forward to in the future. Now, winning games is never good for Utah right now, but when you're playing Washington, who's tanking worse, you're probably going to end up winning the game. Next up, I did not get to watch any of this Heat Nets game. Shout out to Kel'el Ware. I've been seeing Heat fans just continuing to rave about Kel'el Ware and the impact that he has on the team. Michael Porter Jr., 27 and 13. It's meaningless, so I'm not going to talk about it. But shout out to my Golden State Warriors for going into Houston and winning last night 115-113. I got to watch every minute of this game. Between D'Anthony and Melton being really aggressive, playing really good basketball, outside of that final possession when he almost lost us this game, Al Horford had a dominant first half in this one, specifically getting guarded by Sengun. Sengun is not a good defender, and Al Horford's IQ is too good that he works so well out of the post. Guy Santos continues to look really good, better and better. I know he had 7 turnovers. Wow, that's worse than I would have imagined. Even watching the game last night, I couldn't have told you that Guy Santos finished with 7 turnovers. But really impactful game overall. I thought he played very good 3-and-D, plays his role really well, makes the most of opportunity. Podziemski played a fantastic fourth quarter into overtime, hitting good shots, rebounding the ball really well. I'd like to see that assist number be a little bit more than 1, specifically with how much he does handle the ball. He really handles the ball a lot more than it shows. But he's been very score-first oriented as of recent. Now, I will say, when we're running out of lineup like we have here with Draymond, Guy Santos, Al Horford, these kind of, not scoring players, I see why Pods is so scoring driven. But I'd like to see that assist number just not be at 1 when everyone else had at least 2 in the starting lineup. And my shout out of the day has to go to LJ Cryer. I'd never heard of this guy. Actually, no, I had heard of this guy. That's why I knew him. He was a Houston guy. I was going to say I had heard of LJ Cryer. I just didn't know where I heard of him from. Houston basketball player, rookie, came in last night, played very, very impactful minutes. And Baylor. Okay, I was going to say I definitely remembered him in college. I remember him more in Houston. I don't remember him at Baylor. LJ Cryer, 12 points, 4 for 8 from 3. Spread the field pretty well for us between him and Nate Williams. We're starting to find guys that, at this point in the season, when we don't have Moody, no Will Richard, no Gary Payton, no Porzingis, no Steph Curry. I mean, we need to rely on someone to play basketball for us, and Nate Williams and LJ Cryer, I hope that one of them has a good game every other night, honestly. And as for the Rockets, they really just didn't hit their shots in the clutch. Shout out to Jabari Smith Jr. for just missing free throws, missing all his threes. Tari Eason was missing. Sengun was not efficient at all, getting guarded by Al Horford. Reed Shepherd off the bench. Once again, Reed Shepherd drops like 26 points and 6 assists in starting for them over the course of the past 2 weeks, and then they put him back to the bench. It makes no sense to me what Ime Udoka is doing with that point guard position out there in Houston. But Houston literally just couldn't hit a 3-pointer for their starting lineup, specifically late in the game. I thought the Warriors' defensive tenacity was really, really good all night long. They continuously put pressure 94 feet on Houston's ball handlers. I was just very impressed. Clint Capella came in and gave him a couple good rebounding minutes, but Sengun really, really struggled in this game. And if Sengun's struggling, Houston is not the same team when Sengun's looking bad. So shout out to the Warriors for going in. This game went into overtime. The Warriors had a chance to win this game in regulation. They didn't take it. And then they went up quick in overtime and never really looked back. Really, really good win for the Warriors going on the road. Warriors always have Houston's number, so this didn't surprise me, but it turned out to be a really entertaining game. Raptors win 115-107 behind an all-around outing from the Minnesota Timberwolves between Naz Reid and Ayo Dosunmu, giving them double digits off the bench. Anthony Edwards, 22 points on 12 shots, continues to be efficient. This game was really over heading into the fourth quarter. Toronto made it a fake single-digit game, but this game was really over going into the fourth quarter, in my opinion. Timberwolves really just game managed the fourth quarter this one. I didn't watch much of it, but I got to watch a little bit at the end. It looked like Timberwolves were just playing very lackadaisical. The Spurs continue to keep having the Pistons number. You want to know why I'm wearing this Wemby jersey right now? Victor Wembanyama, 38 points, 16 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 blocks, getting guarded by an all-star center in Jalen Duren. Now, Duren did go down in this game. I don't think he returned yet. He never ended up returning, so it had to be a lot of Isaiah Stewart running that center position. You cannot go small against the San Antonio Spurs. You cannot go small against the Spurs because Wemby, Fox, Castle, these guys are too good at getting to the rim. Julian Champagnie spreading the floor. Devin Vassell spreading the floor. They don't even need much production from Dalen Harper because Wemby and Fox were too dominant in this one. The two-man game was fantastic. Their ability to play off of everyone else was fantastic. Spurs have the Pistons number, and I'll continue saying it. The Pistons' lack of size, running Duncan Robinson at the 3, Tobias Harris at the 4, it worries me. It worries me on that defensive side of the ball, and I know Isaiah Stewart looked great yesterday, but he had to play a lot of center minutes, and come playoff time, not loving matchups for the Detroit Pistons. The more I watch them, and the more they rely so heavily on that two-man game between Cade and Duren, that when Duren went down, that offensive threat wasn't really as great as it was. So Pistons continue to worry me more as we get to playoff time. Not saying they're gonna lose 4 straight games in the first round, but come second round of the playoffs when they got to see a 4-seeded Raptors or a 3-seeded Knicks, I'm starting to get a little bit more worried about the Pistons as we get closer to it. I did not get to catch any of this Bulls-Suns game, but I did see Colin Sexton had his best game as a Chicago Bull. 30 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. But as you can see, they're not running any big man. No big men over there in Chicago. They're just letting it flow. Nick Richards comes off the bench and gives them some minutes, late in this game. He's the only guy that can get a rebound for them. But Leonard Miller has been giving them valuable minutes. Good for Leonard Miller. We pulled him a couple times actually very recently in that 22-23 Bowman Ewer inception. Leonard Miller continuing to make strides in Chicago, but Chicago's not a team that you really want to talk good basketball about. Even with the win, don't really have much to say on them. I watched the entirety of Nuggets Lakers last night. I really want to do a whole, I will in a second, Asa, don't worry, I will in a second. I really want to do a whole segment watching Luka, going through and watching Luka Doncic's games and some of these shots he makes, because I know that on paper you're going to look at this game and you're going to say, Luka, 27 points, 11 for 24, not that great, right? 3 for 10, not that great. 11 rebounds, 7 assists. 4 steals is pretty good for Luka, but overall, it's not a Luka stat line you feel great about, right? Watch the game. You watch this game, what Luka is doing for the Lakers on the basketball court. And I know sometimes he literally goes to the corner and he literally has his head down walking into the corner. Him and LeBron, there was one play early in this game. I think it was 7 minutes to go in the first quarter, so really early in this game. JJ Redick ran a set where it was Austin Reeves and DeAndre Ayton running a 2-man game with LeBron in one quarter, Luka in the other corner, and then Marcus Smart on the perimeter. And I remember my buddy looked at me and was like, what is going on? What are they doing? And I was like, yeah. You want to know why basketball can get so frustrating to watch? It's because you have Luka Doncic and LeBron walking into the corners to just watch their teammates run 2-man. They're not threats. They don't look like threats. They don't even look like they're engaged out there. That's the main problem with the Lakers is they have so much problems with their lack of talent around these guys and the lack of trust in these players. Jake LaRavia literally airballed 2 of these 3-pointers, and they were wide open from Luka. They were wide open passes from Luka. I thought Rui Hachimura looked really, really good in this game. Surprised to see that they're really going forward with Marcus Smart in the starting lineup over Rui. I really like Rui. I think he should be in the starting lineup over Smart, but I'm not there. Who knows? But as for the Nuggets, talking about the championship team, the winning team of this game, Jamal Murray. I know it only looks like 8 shots, 28 points. He was so aggressive in this one. He continues to be fantastic. He had 45 points the night before, 28 points this night. Fantastic couple outings for Jamal Murray. Jokic, 28, 12, 13. I will say, though, a couple really careless turnovers from Jokic in this one. I'm seeing 9 turnovers. He almost had a quadruple-double with turnovers in this one. But a couple careless ones, like jumping on guys, fouling early on possessions, just starting to become a little Karl Anthony Towns-esque. Jokic, don't do that. I'm not giving you that kind of down. I'm not calling you out that bad. But I'm just saying, Jokic, let's get those turnovers back down to 3 or 4 as opposed to the 9 mark, especially against the Lakers, who aren't even a good defensive team in the first place. But my shout out has to go to second quarter Tim Hardaway Jr. This game was pretty close. It was end of first quarter Tim Hardaway Jr. That's what it was. This game was really close in the beginning. Tim Hardaway Jr. came in off the bench and just hit 3 straight bang shots. Really, really nice 3-pointers. I've been saying he is such a perfect Denver Nugget. With the way that Jokic plays basketball, Tim Hardaway Jr. is such a perfect off-the-ball guy to put next to Jokic. I love what I'm seeing out of him. I've always loved THJ since when he was drafted to New York, then went to Atlanta, then back to New York, and now he's bounced around. Love me some Tim Hardaway Jr. I think he found himself a home in Denver over there. Congrats to THJ, and congrats to the Nuggets on a good win. But there's just problems in LA. And I saw rumors that LA is trying to build that, The same way that the Mavericks went to the championship with Luka and Kyrie is how now the Lakers are trying to build their team with Luka and Reeves. NBA evolves, Rob Pelinka. Don't just think because that worked 2 years ago that 2 years down the line it's going to work again. Make sure you're evolving your team. Make sure you're maximizing the talent, because you don't just want to bring in a center that's Clint Capella. You want to bring in a center that's valuable and a good asset to your team. Just saying. Don't just follow a recipe that previously worked, because sometimes they don't evolve it. And I'm worried about the Lakers moving forward. Pelicans beat the Kings. Not much to say about this game. Precious Achiuwa with 29 and 12. Zion led the team with 23, but it was really a whole team unit. Jeremiah Fears, Bryce McGowan, Derek Queen, Carlo Matkovic off the bench, all giving them good minutes. Good for the Pelicans, starting to find a little bit more camaraderie later in the season. I swear this always happens, though, where the Pelicans start off so bad, you know that they're bad, and then they start to find little things that you want to believe in, going into the end of the season, but now they're going to run out the same exact starting lineup next year, and who knows. ASAL, it is official. Tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern Time against Cooper Flagg, Jason Tatum is making his NBA return. You're probably only going to see 19, 20 minutes max of Jason Tatum tonight. But the Boston Celtics, my favorites to come out of the Eastern Conference, are officially adding back their former MVP candidate player, Jason Tatum, just 10 months removed from his Achilles injury. It is official. Boston is favored. Look at that. 14.5-point favorites over the Dallas Mavericks in this one. Jason Tatum off the injury report. Tatum will be suiting up for the Celtics. You guys will see my take on how that game goes tomorrow. I can't wait to watch the JT minutes. Congrats to him coming back from the injury just in time for that playoff run. Also, some exciting games. I'm interested to see how Houston bounces back against a team like Portland. Drew Holiday just dropped a 35-point game the other night. I'm actually going to pull that up real quick. Yeah, Drew Holiday, 35 points and 11 rebounds against Memphis the other day. So I hope that they can continue that trend playing in Houston. Houston obviously coming off that tough loss to Golden State last night. Interested to see how Sengun specifically bounces back in this one. Knicks Nuggets. I was just comparing Jokic's turnovers and his bad fouls to Karl-Anthony Towns. We get to see them guard each other tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Knicks at Nuggets. I'm excited about that one. And then it's always fun to watch Kawhi return to San Antonio. Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers, with Darius Garland and Benedict Mathurin likely coming off the bench, are heading to San Antonio to play the red-hot Victor Wembanyama-led San Antonio Spurs. But that's going to do it for my talk of the day. I guess one last thing before I go. The Charlotte Hornets have won 6 straight games by over 15 points. Yes, you heard me right. The Charlotte Hornets have won 6 straight games of over 15-point wins. 27-point win against Mavericks last night. The last team to do that was the Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green Golden State Warriors team. I'm just saying Charlotte is making themselves a case to be the team that no one wants to see. That no one wants to see in that first round of the playoffs. If you're the Pistons, if you're the Celtics, if you're the Knicks, if you're the Raptors, none of them want to see that Charlotte Hornets team in the first round of the playoffs. I'm telling you right now, that could be an upset watch, getting closer to the playoffs. And yes, Hayden, LaMelo can't drive, but he sure can hoop. That's going to do it for my NBA Talk of the Day. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to that. Congrats to Jason Tatum on making his return tonight.